The Newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The United Broilers Association calls on the government to stop importing chicken. Ubra President Bong Insyong told Radyo 5 that there's already a surplus of poultry in the market. Insyong said the government has failed to control the prices of the commodity through importation. He explained that farmgate prices of chicken have dropped due to oversupply, but market prices remain high.
Kahit yung Department of Agriculture umaamin na sa projections nila, pag natapos ang taon at nagkatotoo lahat ng production plans ng industriya, so sobra ng 110 days. Ano yan? Ang ibig sabihin, mga kalahating bilyong kilo yan. Baksak na ang presyo ng farmgate. 95 na lang ang average ng isang linggo. Ang kasamaan palad lang ay nasa 180 pa ang retail price ang ayon sa DA do sa bantay presyo nila. At that is almost 100% ang difference. Normally yan, mga 50 to 60% lang ang difference dapat.
Economic growth in the country is seen to slow down in the second quarter as elevated inflation continues to dampen consumer spending. In a joint report by First Metro Investment and the University of Asia and the Pacific, the growth of the Philippine economy may slow to below 6%. This as inflation is seen to keep nipping at consumers' purchasing power. The Philippine Statistics Authority earlier reported that the economy grew by 6.4% in the first quarter. This is slower than the 8% expansion in the same period of last year and the revised 7.1% growth in the fourth quarter of 2022. Despite this, economic managers are still confident of meeting the 6 to 7% target GDP growth for the entire year. The report says the downward trend will likely bottom in the second quarter. The report also expects the economy to recover in the second half of 2023 thanks to growth in key services subsectors. These include transport and storage, as well as accommodations and food services as tourism recovers. ABS-CBN is entering into a joint venture with Romualdez-led Prime Media Holdings, where House Speaker Martin Romualdez is a majority stakeholder. A joint venture was approved by ABS-CBN's Board of Directors on Tuesday, May 23rd. The two companies will apply with the SEC to incorporate the new company with an initial capital stock of 100 million pesos, consisting of 100 million shares at 1 peso apiece. The joint venture will have an initial paid-in capital of 40 million pesos. ABS-CBN will have a minority stake in the venture at 49%, while Prime Media will be the majority stakeholder with a 51% equity. The new company that will emerge from this partnership will supply content and programs to broadcasters and third-party platforms like the Philippine Collective Media Corporation. The undertaking will also offer employment opportunities for personnel affected by Teleradio's closure set on June 30. For ABS-CBN, the partnership with Prime Media provides it with an additional revenue stream through equity investment and share in the projects of the joint venture. Prime Media is a subsidiary of RYM Business Management Corporation, a holding firm owned by Romualdez. Veteran stock market analyst Jonathan Rabela told the Big Story that this deal could be a positive engagement for both companies.
Hopefully, it will allay the fears about press freedom. No? I think we will probably try to see that being tested. No? But at the same time, this will actually put Prime Media subsidiaries into a nationwide scale. No? So, again, this is something that in the past years, we've seen that most of our networks are Luzon-based. No? So this time, we're probably going to see something that will try to balance content between the Visayas, Mindanao, and eventually where Luzon is.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on the One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The Energy Department wants the Philippine Competition Commission's powers in the energy sector clarified under the Electric Power Industry Reform Act or EPIRA. In a report by the Philippine Star, Energy Secretary Rafael Lutilla emphasized the need to distinguish the PCC and the Energy Regulatory Commission's powers. This amid the proposed amendments to the EPIRA being pushed by the Marcos administration. However, Lutilla says even without the proposed amendments, the Energy Department will continue drawing the line between the two within EPIRA's existing framework. The ERC under the EPIRA is tasked to promote competition, encourage market development, and penalize abuse of market power. Meanwhile, the PCC is mandated to implement a national competition policy and enforce law for promoting and protecting competitive markets. Japanese investors want the Philippine government to proclaim more economic zones. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA said this was raised by the Japanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Philippines in a meeting last week. PEZA Director General Teresa Panga said President Bongbong Marcos has tasked the agency to harmonize and streamline the Ecozone proclamation process. Over 800 Japanese enterprises are registered with PEZA, having invested more than 745 billion pesos and generating direct employment of some 300,000 workers. The Asian Development Bank will provide up to $4 billion in financial grants for the Philippines this year. ADB President Masatsugu Asakawa said this would support the government's socio-economic agenda, as well as its initiatives under the Build Better More program, such as the Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge project. The ADB earlier announced a $14 billion assistance package from 2022 to 2023 for developing member countries. On Monday, President Bongbong Marcos made a commitment with the ADB to hold fast to his responsibilities.
The Philippines stands to greatly benefit from this mutually beneficial relationship with the ADB. We are aware of the responsibilities that this relationship carries with it. But we will re-echo my father's words during the ADB inauguration some 57 years ago. We will meet those responsibilities.
A senator believes it's high time to legalize motorcycle taxis in the Philippines. Senator Grace Poe tells the Senate Committee on Public Services, which she chairs, that motorcycle taxis should be recognized by law as a safe and convenient mode of public transportation in the country. Poe cited the results of a pilot study on the viability of motorcycle taxis, which she notes can be used as basis for legislation. Under the survey conducted by the Technical Working Group, 96% of motorcycle taxi passengers believe that the government should legalize motorcycle taxis. The study also showed that commuters favor the affordability and quick travel time provided by motorcycle taxis amid the heavy traffic in the metro. With the rising demand for this mode of transportation, the Senate is also looking at increasing the number of motorcycles for hire that are allowed to operate. Currently, around 45,000 motorcycle taxis are allowed to operate under various TNVS via provisional authority. The Philippine Competition Commission says it is in favor of this proposal. They note that passengers will benefit more if there are no limits to the number of motorcycle taxis or even TNVS that will be allowed to enter the public transport industry.
In terms of market situation, more players would be better for the consumers. Let the market dictates on the extent of the number of vehicles, motorcycle units.
China's crackdown on espionage has its first big target. Expert networks, as they are called, are a key tool for foreign investors in the country. For Xi Jinping's Communist Party, the industry represents a threat to national security. Here's the full report courtesy of Bloomberg.
In In May, China launched an anti-espionage campaign focused on consulting firms. According to state media, authorities accused one firm, Capvision, of manipulating experts to leak state secrets and accepting consulting projects from companies with close ties to foreign intelligence agencies. And TV broadcasts apparently show police seizing computers and questioning employees at the Capvision offices. Other consultancies are also in the spotlight. In recent weeks, authorities have questioned staff at the China offices of US consultancy Bain & Company and targeted New York-based due diligence firm Mint Group. Over the past 2 years, China has launched sweeping regulatory crackdowns on the property, education and technology sectors that have fundamentally reshaped those industries and cost investors billions of dollars. After those changes, there's huge uncertainty over how far this clampdown on consultancies might go, and that's intensified by worries that deteriorating US-China relations mean Beijing is increasingly willing to prioritize national security over economic growth. For some investors and foreign businesses, these consultancies provide critical on-the-ground intelligence into one of the world's most opaque economies. The bigger, longer-term worry is that this is the latest example of a broader trend. China is closing yet another channel of information, making it even harder to commit investing there.
And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News. All sides, all the time.